So, now, this is another relatively old movie. Well, from 2006, I mean, not old in terms of how old entire industry is. Anyway, so yeah, it's um, it's something that you know many critics and even the audience, it seems, dislikes. I mean, it still made box office, so maybe doesn't dislike it that much. But in terms of the average rating, I mean, it's not about dislike as such. It's more like but best is ambiguous about it. I mean, it's you know very much mediocre rated at least. Uh, yeah, I seem to like it just slightly better than the average rating here. But anyway, so yeah, I'm talking about Just My Luck from 2006, and maybe it's one of those. I mean, so yeah, it is a rom-com, but in comparison to many other rom-coms, I mean, at least it has some uniqueness, right? Just uniqueness, and that's a lot to ask for in rom-coms usually, because many rom-coms are pretty much the same, honestly. So and recently I watched Bride Wars, and it's it's so much more mediocre in this sense. It's so much more mundane, so much more to be expected, such. Either that or the fact that I usually estimate more, so I consider in high esteem more movies that at least try to have some sort of unique factor in them. So in this case, the unique factor is, I mean, sure, these kind of movies aren't exactly unique in themselves. There are quite a few of them, and apparently the actress herself has played in a few. Don't quite remember if I've seen any others, but at least in terms of what it does with the rom-com itself, there's a certain unique factor um, to do with luck, obviously, as the name implies. And no, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't, terribly funny. I didn't find myself, really laughing out loud or anything. But in terms of how it deals with this element of luck, it's interesting, I suppose one would say. Sort of like an undercurrent of sci-fi, possibly, but more conceptual sci-fi, not so much, either visual or contextual. So it's not set in the future; it's set in the present, but it's still essentially sci-fi because well, reality doesn't exactly work like that. People might believe that luck exists, but it's not provable like that. Obviously, if it was, if it's very easily can be proved that by doing something somehow luck can be transferred and such, then we could easily set up double blind studies, and there we go. We've proven that luck exists. Well, obviously, there's no such thing. So, anyway, the point is, at least has this unique concept and plays with it. Now, execution is another matter. It doesn't exactly, it's apparently it was besieged by the actress's own chaotic life. So, in this sense, I'm not sure if she was lucky or not. It's one of those things. It's really strange, but yeah. But otherwise, I mean, script-wise, I don't think there was much that was amiss. I mean, it it was sort of mundane, but it was still interesting. I think interesting is what matters here, I suppose. I mean, sure, on the comedic front, and it's supposed to be a comedy after all, it's not too strong, and obviously it's not really strong on romance or anything. I wasn't expecting it to be, so yeah, that's another weak point. So this is the problem. I mean, so then we're already saying that two of its main genres are weak. but somehow I still think that this playing with this concept is interesting, as opposed to doing even more mundane matters like fighting each other over the same wedding date. It can be more mundane than that. Now, while that movie did have some spots where it's slightly funny, it's, ultimately not really. You know, now with this, I mean, it's still not funny, but at least it had a unique concept, which is still better than being not funny and not having a unique factor. I don't know, just it's sort of how I think. Some things, and just it doesn't matter ultimately too much. The fact is this happens, and they establish this sort of so-called, shall we say, physics per se, not really physics, but they establish something, this conceptual sci-fi sort of and they go along with it. So it might be a child decisions for real, at least, just it's not hard sci-fi or anything, but they do play with it. And how the story develops isn't too bad. So this is what I mean. So I mean, it's maybe critics were too harsh about it, but then again, I mean, I think most critics just like raw drama usually. I'm not sure if they usually ever like sci-fi or rom-coms or anything. Um, so often not. But yeah, I mean, in terms of pure drama as such, it doesn't really pass off very quickly. But yeah, it's interesting to see, for example, so what they think passes off as bad luck or good luck, or how. I mean, some of it is a bit sketchy though. Like if there's a pool of water puzzle, and they absentmindedly step on it. I mean, it's not so much bad luck as not looking there. The same thing with the umbrella in the wind. You know, when that happens, and it happens often, if it's a weak umbrella and there's wind, it happens. It's not so much luck as if you buy a stronger umbrella, then happens much less often unless the wind is even stronger than the strong umbrella. You know, it's not so much luck as preparation in this sense, or just being aware and actually looking at crucial space. Where people place their foot. I just so some things do not all very much, but other things possibly do. And it's still interesting. So the way they play with it, everything might not be perfect or anything, it might not be, but the elements are still there. It's still sort of interesting how it evolves, how it happens. Um, so yeah, in the end, it's not might not be laugh out loud funny, but it's still interesting. As I say, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, not too much, but it's yeah, it's okay. I guess okay is the thing.